All right, guys, it's your boy Joe back at it again. CodingPhase.com. Your boy's backing out and did it again one more time. This time around, we're going to be doing a roadmap to Shopify theme development, okay?
She want me to lock it down, but I told her to pass the key. You gotta slow it down, girl, you moving too fast for me. Nobody did it like this, so they wonder, they asking me if I can slow it down, cause it's coming too fast for me. I came up from the bottom, now look at me now, they mad at me. I cannot slow it down, cause it's coming too fast for me.
Roadmap to Shopify theme development. What do you need? HTML, CSS, okay? Why do you need HTML and CSS? Basically, you're gonna need to be able to convert a website from a design and then build it into a website, a real web page. HTML, CSS is the key for that, okay? This is how you set up your language, right? Your markup language, and you set up HTML, you set up your structure. Then from there, you use CSS to give it the stylings, give it the colors, give it the spacing, right? Align things. That's what you need, HTML, CSS. At the same time, you need to learn how to write clean and reusable code. For those of you guys that don't know, right now, Shopify has this new way of creating things where you can create a section and think of sections as components that you can go and place them anywhere throughout the website. It could be a component or a section that you could put on the home page, but that same section you could put it on the about page. That same section you could reuse it and put it on the product page. That same section you can go and reuse it and put it on, I don't know, the collections page, okay? So that's something that you want to keep in mind. Writing code that's clean and being able to be reused is the key, right? I recommend you learning something like BEM, right? I'll give you guys an example. Let me see if I pull this up for you guys right here. Okay, so this is me writing basically the static files for a theme that I'm building right now, Coventi. And basically this is my structure of how to do things, right? I'm using Next.js to generate the static files, but basically this is what I'm doing, right? I have my section, right? I'm using the section tag. From there, we have the name of that component or that section. And then from there, I have the version of that section, right? Because sometimes you might create three to four different type of versions out of one section, like different variations of it, right? For example, you might have something like this. See if I share this with you guys right here, okay? You might have something like this where this is like a hero section, but this hero has the text and the content in the middle. Another hero section might have the content on the left and the right, like this, right? So this is the same section or the same component. You could think of it like that. But the only difference is this different variations. So this is the structure that I use. Now, of course, I'm using also Bootstrap for the grid system. And that's it. I don't use Bootstrap for any type of stylings beyond the grid system. This is just to provide a way for me to create, responsive websites easily, right? Super fast. And at the same time, if somebody buys this theme, 99% of the time, right, people are going to remember how to use these columns and they could go and edit things on their own. Okay. So this is why using Bootstrap and having that structure is good to have for your Shopify themes. All right, let me see if I open this right here. So let's go to the next one, right? JavaScript, right? So you're gonna need JavaScript, guys. You're gonna definitely need to learn how to use JavaScript, and JavaScript is used for interactivity, right? Creating sliders, creating that mobile menu, creating a tab system, creating an accordion, right? There's so many different things that you might need Shopify to be using JavaScript. So let's say, let me see if I go in and open up Fashion Nova, right? We can see maybe on this section right here, you see how this pop-up just popped up. That's interactivity in the website, right? Interactions, right? So all of that is done with JavaScript, okay? Same time, how to save the data, right? Let's say a user saves their email. How do you do that? Well, you're going to be using JavaScript to do that. Okay, so it's very important to understand the DOM. It's also very important for you to understand how to work with APIs. So Shopify has different APIs that you could connect to. So you can get information for a page, like let's say you are in a collections page. So let's go in, click over here, all swimsuits, right? You see how all of this is loading up. Okay, all of this is done with JavaScript, right? Now, the way how they're communicating with Shopify is through APIs. So you need to know how to use Ajax, right? How to use Axios, or how to basically use, what's the name of it in vanilla JavaScript? XHR, right? Basically being able to do Ajax requests with vanilla JavaScript, man. Shout out to Fashion Nova, man. You can't be mad at Fashion Nova, okay? But at the end of the day, working with APIs is super important when you're dealing with Shopify, because everything's gonna be through APIs, okay? Another thing that I do want to mention is that vanilla JavaScript is preferred. Okay, vanilla JavaScript is preferred. If you guys haven't noticed, when you use a framework like, let's say, React, or you're using Vue, or you're using Angular, a lot of times that framework is bloated, right? There's so many different features and so many different things that most likely you're not gonna need for your themes, right? At all, right? So when you go in and you're using a framework like that, and you're trying to basically create everything with like React or Angular or Vue, etc., right? You're bringing extra weight to the website, right? You want to have your website to be super fast, right? One of the things that's super important when you are dealing with e-commerce is speed. People go into a website, and if they did not see their product in less than 2 seconds, they're out of there. They think the website's not working. They think the website's not secure. So you want to make sure that you provide a service to people as soon as possible. So as soon as they land on a page, they need to start seeing something. If there's something that's still waiting to get rendered, or is still waiting to get a CDN, connect to a CDN to bring this library, or to bring this icons, or whatever it might be, okay, then people's going to leave, okay? The gold standard is 1 second, okay? If it took 1 second, that's great. If you bring it down even less than that, like half a second, quarter of a second, that's even better. Okay, you want to make it super fast, and the best way to do it is by writing vanilla JavaScript. Okay, that's just my advice, and also to Shopify's advice, right? This is why if you look inside of the Shopify theme, right, that they provide to us, which is called I believe Dawn. If we go into that, let me see if I could pull this up for you guys real quick. Give me 1 second. I want to show you guys code at the same time as I'm showing you guys all of these different things. Let me see. So we got Dawn right here. Select folder, VS Code. Okay, go to VS Code, right? We can't be mad at VS Code. So let me see right here. Give me 1 second. I want to show you guys here on the JavaScript side of things. How is it that Shopify themselves is actually doing this? Okay. If we look over here, they're actually using custom elements. Okay. So custom elements, if you guys have never heard of this, search Polymer, search custom elements on Google, right? How to create your own custom elements. And they're very similar to components. You're basically creating a custom, think of it like a custom HTML tag, and then all of the code is scoped into that. Okay, so definitely check it out. Custom elements, definitely look for that. At the same time, this is how they're doing it, right? They're not using React, they're not using Angular, Vue, or Rust, or I don't know what's the other one. Not Rust, is Riot. I seen somebody the other day on Twitter is like talking about Riot. I'm like, man, Riot's still alive? Like, people still talking about that? But yeah, so at the end of the day, they're using vanilla JavaScript for most of the code, and this is what they are recommending for people to have. Okay, and I also recommend it because it's just gonna be make your website so much faster. Okay, the next thing that we have right here is REST and GraphQL. Understand how to communicate with APIs is key, right? So understanding how to use Ajax and to connect to those APIs, but then at the same time understanding how REST APIs and GraphQL works. What's the pros and cons of each one? All right, so that's something that you want to keep in mind. And I also want to mention that GraphQL seems to be the future of Shopify. Yes, they are supporting REST APIs because at the end of the day, it's a preference. You could use REST API or GraphQL, but they're going to support both of them. But it seems like GraphQL is going to be the future of JavaScript, meaning that if there was to release a new update or, add some new things, they're probably going to add it to GraphQL first. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, it doesn't hurt you to learn it. Now, the next thing is Liquid. Learn Liquid syntax. Work with objects. Loop over data. Get comfortable of going through the documentation. Okay, that's one of the things that you're gonna have to get used to, right? There's a great website called Liquid. Let me see, Liquid cheat sheet that is provided by Shopify. Okay, let me see if this loads. There you go. This is literally one of the best websites. I'm constantly on this website. Even me, I teach Shopify theme development. I teach Shopify app development. But don't get it twisted. I also look at the documentation, right? I can't remember every single thing. I know so many different programming languages. I know so many different skills as a developer. It's impossible for you to remember everything. So the best thing that you can do is always have the documentation open. So Liquid, again, is a templating language, but again, you also have different objects that you have access to. So for example, let's say I wanted to get access to the collection object, right? And then from there, in that collection, I will have all of the information about that specific collection. And then inside of that collection, I could have the image of that collection. I could have the ID of that collection. I could have the description of that collection. Okay. So again, the products that are within that collection. So all of these things is things that's going to be useful for you guys when it comes to creating themes. Now, again, what exactly is Liquid? Liquid is a templating language. That's pretty much it. Okay, it's a language that you can use to communicate with Shopify. This is how Shopify renders their pages. So you use Liquid for that. If you ever use PHP Laravel, think of this as Blade. If you ever use something like Nunjucks, or you ever use, what's the other one? Damn, there's so many different templating languages. Let me see. I remember there was a website that used to have like a whole bunch of like a list of all of the different templated languages. Let me see. Damn, I wish they had it. Well, yeah, this is one of them, right? So you have mustache underscore embedded JavaScript. You guys have seen this, EJS if you do know JS, handlebars, J templating. So there's a whole bunch of different templated languages out there. But this is the one that works with Shopify. So Shopify was built on top of Ruby on Rails, and basically they created this templated language to facilitate, extra features for people who are creating web pages. Instead of you having to go in there and write like Ruby code or ERB or whatever, you're basically using Liquid, which is not bad. It's super simple to learn and super fun. Okay, again, looping over data. It's like mandatory. Okay, so understanding what a for loop is, all right, understanding conditionals, this is what you're gonna need to be focusing on Liquid. Now the next one that we have right here is React.js. Understand how to create components. Again, remember what I told you guys before with HTML, CSS. You want to be writing basically sections that are reusable, and learning React.js allows you to become the type of individual that understands what a component is, how to keep things scoped within that component, how to be able to write components or quote unquote sections that are going to be reusable in other places. Now, another thing that I do want to mention is that this is to prepare for Hydrogen. Okay, so Hydrogen is a new way to create custom Shopify sites, and this is something that your homie Toby, right? Shout out to Toby. He was giving us a preview of how it looks. So basically, in the future, you're gonna be able to basically upload your Shopify website using React, right? So they're gonna have different libraries, different components that you can use. It's gonna be like a pre-made template, and then from there you could go in and customize it using React. Okay, so think of it as Shopify is going to be hosting your website. Same way how you're able to go to Netlify and host your website probably through GitHub and, or GitLab or whatever you use. Shopify is going to be providing us something similar to this in the future. Now, this isn't going to be for everybody. Some people might say, well, I'll just learn Liquid or let's say I just learned React.js and I'm gonna forget about Liquid. Liquid is not going away, guys. Okay, Liquid is too embedded into Shopify. It's built in. It's like telling somebody, well, listen, man, I don't think you need your heart, and let's take out your heart. Like, nah. Liquid is the heart of Shopify. Okay, so when it comes to theme development, so it's not going nowhere. Okay, this is the way how people are able to customize their websites. But this Hydrogen is a good idea for companies that want to have more control of their website. Okay, they want to have more control of the website, and they want to use Shopify as a hosting service, basically. Okay, so at the end of the day, you're going to be able to do that with React. So learning React is like future-proofing your skills because this is what you're going to be needing, okay? Also, too, it's going to be beneficial for you to understand the concept of components and creating, independent scope sections, again, if you want to think about it like this. But again, this is the future. But this is not like it's replacing Liquid. This is like for companies that want to have in-house developers and they want to have custom code within their websites. That's where Hydrogen is going to be. Okay, so don't think that it's going to replace Liquid. It's not. There's too many websites that is going to need Liquid, especially for people to be able to customize it. That's why we as Shopify theme developers, when we're trying to sell a theme, right? Let's say, for example, we're creating themes for the users. It's not really for us. It's for the user who is the store owner to be able to customize it, change things around, change the title. You're not going to be able to do that with Hydrogen. I don't believe so. Okay. So unless they come up with something, a different way of doing it, but I don't think that is going to be possible. That's why Liquid is going to be, the key of everything. Okay. The next thing that we have here is Next.js. Learn to use Next.js to use Shopify as a headless CMS. As you continue to grow as a Shopify theme developer, right? Let's say you're working for a company and you're working as a quote unquote Shopify developer, right? Or a Shopify theme developer. You're basically going to be in this company, and whatever they throw at you, you're going to want to be able to do it, right? So let's say, for example, that company decides, well, we was a small company before, but now we're getting to the big boys, right? And they want to upgrade to Shopify Plus, and they want to have more control of their website. So what they're going to do is they're going to host their own website on their own servers. They're going to create custom code for everything, and they're going to be using Shopify as a headless CMS to manage their website. And also, too, using Shopify for their payment gateway. So in that situation, that means you're building a website from scratch, right? You're building a website from scratch, and you're going to be using most likely Next.js, okay? Because to be honest with you, this is the most recommended way of creating Shopify websites that are going to be doing headless CMS. Some people might use Nuxt, but at the end of the day, let's be honest, Nuxt is like a copy of Next. You get what I'm saying? That's what Vue and Nuxt does. Like anything in Vue, I swear to God, what they do is they look at whatever is somebody else is doing and they copy and they just put the V on it or the U on it. Next, Nuxt, okay, whatever, right? So whatever you decide to use. But I recommend Next.js. I'm a React developer. This is the thing that we focus on here on CodingPhase.com. So definitely this is what you want to go and focus on, okay? Again, this is going to be very important for people that's going to work in companies that are going to be using Shopify Plus. Okay, most likely they are going to be using Next.js. So you don't want to be that guy that, hey, I'm a Shopify developer. Oh, but you don't know Next? Well, I'm going to start learning it now. Nah, man, this is something that you can learn on the weekend. So learn that skill, all right? Now, the next thing is probably one of the most important things about this is you need to have certain e-commerce skills. To be a really good Shopify theme developer, you need to understand what e-commerce is, okay? Understand the process of how users buy products, right? For example, let's go to good old Fashion Nova, right? What's the process here? Somebody lands on this page. Okay, we saw before there was a pop-up. They trying to capture the person's email so they could go in and do marketing for them. Okay, go in and send them emails and notifications on the new products. That's one process, right? That's how you get sales. What's the next process? The person lands on the website, comes in here, looks at some products, okay, says, hey, which one do I want? I want a bikini, I want a t-shirt, whatever it is, okay? They come in, oh, there's sales. They click there, starting at $9.99. Cool. They landed right here. All right. Now from there, what's the next process? The person starts looking around, start changing how things look. They say, well, I want something that's red, right? So let me see everything that's red, right? So this is what we call filtering through the data, right? Filtering through the products, right? All of this are different processes, right? Different ways for the person to be able to buy the product. That's what people care about. We are in the business of e-commerce. We're not in the business of, doing the same things like a tech startup or whatever. Nah, we're in the business of selling shit. Okay? It's that simple. There's no way around it. You're in the business of selling things. Okay? So again, understanding the process. What is a wish list? What is add to cart? What is sending something to checkout, right? Somebody clicks add to cart. What exactly does it mean? How many sizes there is? Okay, cool. They add the thing. It got sent over there. We have it in the cart. This is what we go in and we say, okay, cool. The person is gonna have their products in the cart, and then they say, okay, cool. I want to do a checkout, right? What exactly does it mean to do a checkout? A checkout means literally landing on the payment page, and then from there, almost paying for it. If they go in and they sign up, they put in their information, they pay for it, that's a conversion. So there's certain words, certain things that you need to get used to. This is part of e-commerce. Yes, you're a Shopify theme developer, but that doesn't mean that I'm the guy that just worry about code. That doesn't fly in e-commerce. You need to understand the process. You need to understand what you need to be doing to make sure that you get sales. And at the same time, you need to understand the process to be able to create the right tools or create the right experience for the users to buy the product. If you don't understand that, then you're basically lost. You get what I'm saying? This thing is not just about learning how to code. It's about a process, okay? So you need to understand what e-commerce is and how does this things work, okay? What is a funnel? What exactly is a funnel? So you need to learn exactly what is a funnel, okay? So I'll give you guys a quick example. Let me see, sales funnel, right? Give you guys an image, okay? Give you guys an example right here. What is exactly a sales funnel, right? I think this one's a little better run. Okay, cool. People come in, that's a lead, right? People come in, maybe there's gonna be, let's say for an e-commerce store, the person's gonna come in, look at the product page. Okay, on that product page, we tag them. We say, well, that person's interested in that product, right? And this is something that we're gonna get into too when we talk about tracking, right? Google tags, Facebook pixels, etc. Right? So understanding what a sales funnel is, right? Person comes in, lands on the page. Cool. We track them. We say, well, this person landed here. Now he's a lead, but we don't know his information. This is where we give them that little modal, that little pop-up. We want to get their email. We want to capture their email. So now we have that lead there and we could contact them either through emails, or now because we tagged them, we can see what products they were interested in. And then now we could give them ads. Same thing as when somebody goes in and adds something to their cart, right? Haven't you ever received the email before where it says, hey man, you have 5 items in your cart, and you're like, wait, I added them, but how do you know that? They're keeping track of everything that you do. This is what e-commerce is, right? Sometimes people, they forget that they are about to buy something and they're like, I'll come back later. You need to remind them, hey, come get your shit. Come pick up your shit. You left it in the cart. You're supposed to buy this, right? You get what I'm saying? I'm just making a joke out of this, but this is pretty much the process, right? It's a sales funnel. Okay, person lands, you either go in, capture their email, then from there you give them emails and remind them, hey man, we got to sell. Hey man, we got a product. And then from there, the person buys. After they buy, then you come in and you go through the next sales funnel, which is like going in and reminding them, hey, how great of a product they had the last time. So now we got new ones. Come in, come buy the new ones, right? Now you give them some emails. Now you give them a text notification. Now you're giving a message on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? It's a sales funnel. There's so many different ways of creating sales funnels, and it's kind of ridiculous, okay? But you need to understand the process. It's e-commerce. If you don't understand this, you're gonna be lost, okay? Tracking Google tags, Facebook pixels, right? I believe TikTok has pixels. I believe Twitter has some type of tracking system too. So all of these things, right? You need to get comfortable with it. You don't need to learn everything, but understand how they work, okay? The next thing is A and B testing, okay? And I'm talking about A and B testing because, yes, you're planning on becoming a Shopify theme developer, but when you become a Shopify theme developer, it's not just you selling themes. You could be a Shopify theme developer for a company working full-time, making $100K per year or more, working there full-time. It's a, guaranteed income, right? Now, in that company, they're gonna want you to do A and B testing. Understand what's the logic, the philosophy behind A and B testing. How does it work, right? How do you properly test things, okay? So this is something that you're gonna need. Another thing that you wanna understand is analytics, right? Some of you guys think everything is just about code. Sometimes you could be the best developer, but at the same time, if you're ignorant of looking at data, you don't even know where to go, what to create, what to focus on. So understanding analytics is super important. Shopify provides you with some type of analytics on their website. But at the same time, it's always good to learn how to use Google Analytics and other services that are out there. Okay. And the last thing that you need to know is doing research on your own conversion trends, right? On different conversion trends that's happening. There's so many different websites, blogs, right? Communities, Facebook groups, Discord groups, etc. Like, you need to be part of this. Yes, you're a developer, but at the end of the day, you're in the industry of e-commerce. Okay, that's like a guy who works at, I don't know, fintech, right? A company, I don't know, what's a big, I don't know, JP Morgan. Let's say you're working at JP Morgan and you have no idea what's going on with the market, but then they have you working on applications for the stock market. How are you going to be able to create a good application for, guys that want to go in and keep track of the stock market? How can you create a good application for that if you have no knowledge of the industry? You're not going to be able to do it. It's the same thing with e-commerce. How can you create a good theme or create a good experience for a user if you have no knowledge of what's happening in the e-commerce community? Okay, the e-commerce community moves very fast and is actually one of the best things because so many people share exactly what works for them, right? A lot of times you're not going to see this everywhere in other industries where people share what's working for them. But in the e-commerce community, people constantly share, hey man, I moved this button from the top to the bottom. Now I'm getting 15% more sales. Hey guys, I sped up my website, 25%. I took out a whole bunch of different images. Everything is being lazy loaded, etc. Now my website is converting 15% more. You get what I'm saying? So people share these things. So being able to be part of that community and seeing what's happening there is going to make you a better developer because you're going to understand what's happening out there. And you can also bring that into your company or bring it to the company that you're working for. Okay? So hopefully you guys like this video. Let me know in the description. By the way, anybody that's looking to learn how to code and learn Shopify theme development, this is what we do at CodingPhase.com. Right? We teach you Shopify theme development, Shopify app developer, everything that you need. Even if you are a complete beginner, we have all the courses from the very beginning, right? You don't know how to use a text editor, we teach you how to use a text editor. You don't know HTML, CSS, we teach you HTML, CSS. You don't even know what a terminal is, we teach you how to use the terminal, okay? SaaS like a pro, future-proof JavaScript, noding NPM basics, debugging like a pro, object-oriented programming with JavaScript, my first Shopify store, my Shopify theme development course, Shopify online store 2.0, Google Analytics, Facebook and Google Ads marketing, design software for developers. It's all in there, okay? We have all of that in there. Now, by the way, if you guys are interested in learning the roadmap for Shopify app development, let me know in the comment section. Let me know if you guys would like to see another video just like this where I break down the roadmap on how to become a Shopify app developer. Okay, let me know what you guys think. By the way, guys, I'll see you guys later. We will be here and we'll continue on the live stream. Okay, so